apparently, Mike Babcock, who is still being paid by the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Still.
Nice.
Until the end of this month.
Yeah, the old expire before the new year starts.
Hockey contract seemed to end in June.
June 30.
And Babs has been up at Warner's Cottage and what is it, Mirror?
No, I think he upgraded when he got the new contract.
Yeah, he's got a nice place there. Yeah. So he's been living the best life, not working, just kind of hanging in.
Volunteering at U of S for a little bit there until I was like, okay, we're sick of this guy. And then he didn't do that anymore. Yeah.
And
that kid the job.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
And I think there was, because now Stan Bowman, Joel Quenneville, they have some
different issues,
fence mending to do. Is it the same with Babcock? Because we saw what happened with Marner, and that just didn't end well. But it's not.
Babs doesn't have to go talk to the commissioner to get reinstated. It's an entirely different level. But I think a lot of the tarnish came on when you heard the Marner stuff about how he was. No, okay, Rook, list the players who works the hardest to least. You got to outwork out. Like it was just some of the things the stories that got told after he departed. I think when he arrived in Toronto, he was kind of heralded as this genius, and that shine had worn off by the time he was dusted in Toronto.
People change over time. I'm curious to see what kind of Mike Babcock this guy will be. At the same time, maybe some people don't change. You are who you are, and that's the way you're going to be. But there's no question. I just remember when he was like coaching college and then the Western League.
The U of L.
Very nice.
Pronghorns championship. Let's go.
And then it's Anaheim, and then it's Detroit. And along the way, I guess your ego is built up and your self-confidence.
It's always been there.
Next thing you know, you're making $8 million a year, talking about yourself in the third person during press conferences.
So you're feeling pretty darn good about yourself.
You betcha.
So
Mike Babcock.
But with what's happened, maybe he's a different guy. I don't know. Mike Commodore has never been a huge fan, as we know.
No, they overlapped in Detroit.
They did.
Told this story
before that.
Okay. Well, they're both Saskers.
Yeah. Anaheim.
Started
in Anaheim.
That's right.
He was coming in Anaheim.
He was.
That's where he
went
started
to the final.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. That's where it all started.
Oh dear.
He basically, because I think, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but my recollection, I try not to listen to Commie bitch about Babcock all the time.
I like it. It's good for me.
But I think it was Babs basically said, you're useless and terrible and we'll never play in the league.
And then he did the same thing when he was in Detroit at the opposite end of his career.
Well, I think what it was is because it went poorly in Anaheim. And then Detroit was going to bring him in as a free agent. He was like, well, Babcock's there. Like he says, like, he hates me. Like, we've never been. And there's, oh, Mike, come on. Everything's great. Don't worry. That was ancient history. And then it wasn't.
That was then. This is now.
As soon as he got to Detroit. So anyway, maybe like Mike Babcock has potentially changed. Maybe Mike Commodore has changed. Maybe enough time has passed, water under the bridge type of deal, where it's a softer Mike Commodore when it comes to Mike Babcock.
I don't think, other than Mike Commodore and Pinder, I don't think anyone gives a shit.
No.
Well, Mike Commodore's opinion of right, like
he was a villain in Toronto.
I've listened to it. I love it. It's funny, but I don't think that the Columbus Blue Jackets are overly worried about Commodore's opinion.
He was very vocal when Babcock arrived in Toronto. Took a lot of heat for it, but by the time Babcock was done his tenure in Toronto, a lot of people had said, "Yeah, you know what, Commie maybe wasn't making up stuff." And
this is what's happening with the game: is that those stories that you didn't used to get told, that you had to wait 20 years out. And have a hot stove night where guys are drinking beer and right. It was charity fundraiser. Then you'd get the story.
Yeah.
Now it comes out right away.
Well, and I don't know what this Anaheim is. He's drafted by Jersey. He's in Jersey 2 years for Calgary.
Yeah. He went to the final. I think he went to when he was drafted by, like, his first 3 or 4 years, man, were all deep runs.
No, I'm talking about Commie, not.
I know.
He didn't play in Anaheim. 0 games played.
Well, maybe that's.
Anyway.
I'm telling you, it was
drafted by Jersey, played in Jersey next year, Calgary. But whatever, that's beside the point.
There is an Anaheim connection.
I'm pretty sure there is.
Anyway,
doesn't matter. I mean, I know that it got heated at the end in Detroit because Mike still thought he could play, and Babs was having none of it.
I'll have to Google it after. I can't do 2 things at once. Anyway, I mean, just to find out, I'm curious.
Oh, do you think he weighed in?
About what Mike Commodore might have to think. Oh, this just in? Oh, yes, Mike Commodore has weighed in on
well, that's great.
a Mike Babcock potential
I bet you he's
return.
softened too.
Well, I wonder. I don't know.
You know, like Babs might have softened. Commie's probably softened.
There's a chance that maybe it's High Road Mike. Maybe
High Road Mike.
He's maybe had a second thought. We'll hear what he has to say.
I was going to leave this alone because, frankly, I'm sick and tired of seeing Mike Babcock's name in all my feeds. But it is what it is, and here we are. Mike Babcock, head coach, back in the NHL, head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Babs the bully gets another chance. Am I disappointed? Yes, I am disappointed. Am I surprised? No, I'm not. His whole retirement thing was a load of horse shit right off the bat. And I'm sure he walked into the Columbus office and told the brass whatever they wanted to hear. Oh, I've changed, blah, 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 which is another load of horse shit. Babs the bully ain't changing. Scumbags like that don't change. I really don't know what else to say other than, with all due respect to my buddies that are in the Blue Jackets organization, I hope this Babcock experiment is a complete disaster on every single level. Also, maybe some of you guys might be wondering, I just moved into a new rental, rented it off a French friend of mine, and this was in the closet. It's kind of nice. I'll tell you right now, if it said Blue Jackets on it, it would have been in the trash can.
It's my buddy Louis' house, by the way, that he's in.
Well, it's good that he's wearing someone else's robe.
That's right.
Oh, Louis was pumped. He got some social media love. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, at first glance, it would appear that maybe he's not softened on Mike at all. He's still kind of.
It's not as harsh as usual.
And he kind of begrudgingly was like, "Yeah, I wasn't sure, but everyone's hitting me up on social." I feel like he and Babs do the same. It's just like a little bit less, but there's still no love lost.
Maybe someday. Not today, but maybe someday.
I hope they never cross paths. Is what my hope is.
I'd rather rent the barn and sell tickets. Let's do that.
I don't know how they haven't.
Remember the Kevin Lowe,
Brian
Burke thing? We could do that with those two.
I don't know.